we shall discuss about a condition called otitis externa. Kindly see this picture first. See, ear has been divided into external ear, middle ear and inner ear. The external ear is the only part which is skin lined. When there is infection of this skin, it is called as otitis externa. So at this stage, if you ask me what is otitis externa, it is nothing but acute infection of the skin lining the external ear. Now, let us classify the condition. It can be classified as infective, reactive and malignant. Infective means infection is the cause, as the word says. So it can be bacterial, it can be virus because of virus, or it can be fungus. In this video, we shall discuss only about bacteria. Virus is a separate topic. Likewise, automycosis or fungal infection is a separate topic. You have to refer to my other videos. So after infection, the other causes are reactive. Suppose you have any other problems, skin problems, especially skin problems in the body, like psoriasis, eczema, any sort of allergy. You can have the same problem in the ear. Now the last one, which is called as a malignant otitis externa. As the word says malignant, the disease is also really dangerous. But it is not very common. Actually, 90 to 95% of the patients of acute otitis externa, we can easily treat out as an OPD. But very less percentage, like those above the age of 60 years, they are immunocompromised. They have some problem in their immunity. They are diabetic, sugar not under control. Transplant patients, these patients are more prone for malignant otitis externa. And do you know that even the patient can die because of this condition? So if you ask me, simple infection of the ear, can it spread inside to almost near the brain and involving all the bones, which is almost the base of the skull, and can it lead to death? Surely yes, it can. This condition can. So we are not going to discuss about this condition in this video. We are going to discuss only about acute otitis externa. So now let us see the skin lining of the external ear. It has got some few properties. One is the normal pH of that skin lining is 4 to 5, and you have normal good bacteria, that is gram-positive bacteria. The third point is you have presence of wax, which is very protective. Fourth one is you have two types of glands in the ear. One produces secretion which is white in color. Second one produces secretion which is lipid, fat. These two together, it lubricates the canal. So we have four features in the external auditory canal which protective in function. Now, next we'll see what are the predisposing factors which can lead to otitis externa. So, one is infection. Second is, it's very common in humid climate. Any sort of allergy, whether it can be medicine or it can be allergy of the body anywhere. Any skin disorder, and last is any type of trauma, even a scratching and itching. All this can predispose to otitis externa. Now, we will see how does one person get otitis externa. If you have any of these predisposing factors, what happens is, first, the pH of the skin lining the external ear changes. When the pH changes, automatically there will be swelling of the skin. Due to the swelling of the skin, what happens is, the two glands which I have mentioned before, it stops functioning. So the three protective functions gone. The fourth one, normally you have good bacteria which is replaced by a bad bacteria. So all the protective functions are gone. Now at the same time, the patient, for any reason he scratches the ear, this will lead to small disruption of the skin. So this disruption of the skin easily lets in the bad bacteria into the skin, leading to condition called otitis externa. This is what happens. This is how a person gets otitis externa. I hope you got the point. Now, the commonest bacteria is Pseudomonas in 60% of the patients. Let us come to the symptoms. What are the complaints of patients? The most common complaint will be ear pain, which is the most common complaint. followed by ear discharge. And if this ear discharge completely blocks the ear, the patient can have hearing loss too. On examination, when we examine the patient, wherever you touch at this point or you pull the pin, the patient will have severe pain. I'm discussing about what moderate to severe condition. They'll have severe pain. And if you see the ear canal, there will be pus coming out. And when we clean the canal by suction cleaning everything, when we see inside the small camera, we see the eardrum is normal. Means eardrum is normal means the infection is outside in the external ear. That's why we are calling it otitis externa. Okay. Now, do we need any investigation? In a straightforward case, we don't need any investigation. We can straight away go to the treatment. In case it is recurrent, then we need to take the pus and send it for culture sensitivity. Why you want to do that? Because if you send for culture sensitivity, we can come to know which bacteria is involved and which antibiotic can be given specific against that bacteria. That's the advantage of this. So, is that all? No other investigation to be done? I'll tell you something. Sometimes what happens is, we cannot differentiate whether the skin lining outside, whether it's otitis externa or is the infection inside. The problem is the infection inside has got more complications. So it becomes a must that you rule it out. In that case, when you have a confusion, if you want to rule out other conditions, we have to do CT scan, and along with that we do a hearing test also. Otherwise, in a case of otitis externa, we directly go into treatment. So what is the treatment modality? So for better understanding, let us divide the condition into mild category and moderate category. Mild category, if you ask the patient says, I have pain. Is it severe? Not severe. You are able to sleep? Yes, I am able to sleep. It's a mild case. Fine. In that case, you give ear drops and painkiller. That's it. For 5 to 6 days, we can cure it. But in a case of moderate to severe, if you ask him, is it severe? He said, of course, I cannot bear the pain. You are able to sleep? No, not at all. This moderate to severe case, this pain is because he has got severe swelling of the skin. Unless you decrease that swelling, the pain is not going to come. Let us see how we will do that. Now, the first most important thing to be done is under a microscope or if possible or telescope, with a small camera, we have to do suction cleaning and remove all the pus which is seen in the external ear, so that you can put in a medicine to decrease the swelling. This suction which I mentioned to you before in the previous slide, maybe we need to do once or twice. We do only once a day, so maybe you have to visit us again the next day. So once or twice, followed by application of a special medicine in an umbilical tape or ear wig which will be kept inside, so that this medicine, it decreases swelling. When you decrease the swelling decreases, the pain decreases. Actually, this has to be kept at least 2 or 3 times daily, but practically that is not possible. So what we do, we keep it once daily and call the patient next day too. So once the swelling comes down, what you can do is, there is way to go for the drops to go in. So we prescribe ear drops. 3 drops, 3 times daily, 5 to 7 days as per your family ENT doctor. Now, after that, at the same time, you will be getting a painkiller. So, in short, moderate to severe case gets only local ear drops, local antibiotic ear drops. Most of the patients, they don't need systemic antibiotic like oral antibiotics or IV antibiotics. So, is it a must? Yeah, in some conditions, yes. Which conditions? Where the infection spread outside and severe pain, of course, is there with that. There is fever along with that, or the patient is a diabetic patient. In these conditions, when it is not getting controlled with a local antibiotic, we need to start with oral or systemic IV antibiotic. Otherwise, generally no. So, what are the general precautions to be taken? The most important is, don't let water get inside the ear. So, avoid swimming. Second one, when you do a head bath, keep a cotton, plug with the cotton wool and apply Vaseline on top of it. And after your head showering, you dry up, everything is fine, you can take it off. So you should not let in water. Then what are the other advices? One is, please do not use anything in the protect of saying that I'm going to clean the ear. No earbuds, nothing of any object should be put inside the ear. Please do not scratch with hairpin, keychain or anything. Suppose a patient is using a hearing aid, they cannot use a hearing aid for a few days till the condition is controlled. And following healing, when it becomes normal, please take care of the mold of the hearing aid. You clean it every day and night. Maybe that is the cause of infection. Last, if the patient is diabetic, it should be under control. If not, it will invite infection. So in short, to summarize, we have seen otitis externa. How do you get otitis externa that we have seen in the flow chart? What are the common complaints? An examination, what are the findings? Is there a role for investigation? And what is the treatment? And most important, what are the precautions? This is what we have seen in today's video. Thank you so much.